And in this video today, we're going to be learning how to navigate the command line interface on your computer. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's start out with some common vocabulary. So first, the terminal is widely used, and what the terminal is it's simply a text input and output environment. So it basically runs like a shell, and it doesn't have any graphical UI interface. It's basically one of these similar to what was used the 1900s, before computers with graphical user interfaces were formed. It was just a text input and output environment. And a console, on the other hand, is like kind of a physical terminal. So it's hardware which can run commands. When you have consoles like gaming consoles, that's an example. It's basically where it's like the physical portion of the terminal that has direct relation to what is being run on it. And the shell is a command line interpreter. So what that means is kind of like an application that runs commands and processes commands into results. So for example, a very popular shell is a bash, the born again shell, which is an application that runs these commands. Other examples include like PowerShell, which is commonly used on Windows computers. And then finally, CLI, that's command line interface, is a computer program that interacts with the shell to process these commands. So this is what you see on your computer. So on Macs, you have like a terminal, which is kind of like a terminal emulator, and you have these computer programs. This is the interface that runs the shell application and outputs the commands that the user wants to run on this interface. So that's pretty much it for the vocab, and today we'll be learning how to use the command line interface on our computers so that we can run popular and helpful commands on these. So let's get started. So first, what I'm going to do is I've opened up the terminal. I'm using a MacBook here, so this is what my terminal looks like. If you're on Windows, you can open PowerShell, and similarly on other computers. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to my desktop here. My desktop is all black. So to navigate to a directory, you want to use the command cd. cd means your current directory. So if you want to change your directory to desktop, I'm doing cd desktop, so that right now I'm in my home folder, but if I want to go to my desktop, this is the command that allows me to do that. And now that you can see my directory is changed to the desktop. If I run pwd, that means print working directory. So I can see here my pwd includes the desktop because I have changed my directory to the desktop. Now, what if I want to make a folder within my desktop? Well, I can use the mkdir, make directory command, which allows me to make a folder in my desktop. So if I want to do make directory A, as you can see here, I just drag the folder. It is this A folder pops up and is now created. I can also do touch. Touch allows me to make new files. So if I want to do touch b.txt, there's a new text file. I can open it up. It doesn't have anything in it, obviously, because I just created it. And similar to the folder, it doesn't have anything in it because I just created the new folder. Now, if I do ls, ls means it lists out all the components that are in my desktop. So if I do ls, it shows I have the A folder, I have b.txt. If you're using PowerShell on Windows, that's going to be the dir command instead of ls. So different shells, as we talked about before, have different commands. And if I'm in my folder here, if I want to create a file inside this folder, I can navigate to this A folder. So I do cda, change the directory to A, and now I can see I'm inside the A folder. If I do pwd, it prints out the directory. I'm within the A folder in my desktop, and I can make, let's say I want to make another file here. I can do touch. Let's say I want to make, I don't know, maybe like a Python file, right? I can do touch, let's call this inside a.py. a.py. And here inside a.py is a Python file that is inside a. So I think that's pretty cool. And let's say I want to return to my desktop. I want to go back to my desktop. Right now I'm within the A folder, but if I want to go back, I use cd space ... What that does is that you change the directory, you set your current directory to the one that was previous to the one that you are in now. So if you kind of imagine like a branch like structure, I'm in A, I want to go back to the desktop, so I do cd space ... and here I am again in my desktop. If I want to go directly to my home folder, let's say I was in A again, and I want to go back to the main folder that I started off with, which was just my home directory, I can do cd space and then this tilde sign. And if I press enter, if I print out my working directory, I'm in my home folder, my users folder again, which was the initial directory that I started off with. Now let's say I want to write something in b.text, but I don't want to open it up. First, let's navigate to the desktop, cd desktop, and now I'm just going to list out my documents that are in here. Okay, b.text is in here, so that's great. Let's say I want to write something in b.text. If I want to open a text file, I can do nano command, which allows me to edit files, b.text. And here I am in my editor, and I can, whatever I write on here will be written to b.text. So let's just say that, hello, today we are learning about bash commands and navigating our CLI, navigating our command line interface. Now, let's say that I want to save this, right? And I want to exit. Well, it tells you right here, these are some useful commands. To exit, I need to do the Control X. So I can do Control X. Do you want to save the modified buffer? Yes, I want to save my file. And I want to write it to b.text. Yes, I do. And I just pressed enter now. You can press enter to complete the option. And if I want to, I can either open up this file, and right here, I see here that it says, hello, today we are learning about bash commands navigating our CLI, was what I wrote in my terminal that is appearing on b.text, or you can even output the text in your terminal. So you can do that using the cat command, which outputs whatever text you had, whatever text was contained in the specific file you are specifying. So if I do that, the text also displays on the terminal if I don't want to, physically go and go into the directory and open it up. So that is also another command that we can use. If, for example, another use case could be finding files, right? That's something that is super useful, and I can do that by using the find command. I can do find b.text. Whatever I put here will be outputted. So now it says that desktop includes b.text. If I want to find all the files that start with b.text, I can do find dot, which tells me that I can find the files in this home directory, and then I can use the dash type flag, which tells me what type the file is. If I do dash type F, that means it's a regular file. It can be any text file, let's say. And if I do dash name, the name flag, I can write b.text. And if I do that, it will tell me in the desktop, this is the path for b.text. So that is also another useful find command that you can use. Now let's say that I want to rename the file. I don't want to physically go in my folders and open it up, but I want to, rename the file, one of the files that is in my, let's say, desktop. So I can use the mv command. Mv command allows me to rename files that I specify. So I do mv and then my First argument here is the source file. So let's say I want to rename b.text. And then the second argument is going to be the destination file. So whatever you want the new name to be. So let's call it new b.txt. And as you can see here, it just changed from b.text to new b.text. So that is also another command. If you don't want to rename files, you can also do this by batch renaming files that are in a certain directory. So that is also very useful if you want to, quickly rename a bunch of files at once. Now let's say that I want to, delete everything. I don't need these folders anymore. I want to delete everything that is within the folder, right? I can use, right now, a includes inside a.py. Let's say if I want to remove a, I can use the rm command, which allows me to remove the folder. So I can do rma. And the reason why RMA does not work is because A is a directory. It tells you right here that A is a directory, which tells me that I actually need to use the rmdir command, which is for removing directories, not just removing files. So if I do rmdir A, it tells me that the directory is not empty. And that is because when I use the rmdir command in my terminal, it only removes folders that are empty. For example, if I create another folder, let's do touch B, I created a new text file, and let's do make directory B folder. I created another B folder in my desktop. If I want to remove this, right now our B folder is empty. If I want to remove this using the rmdir command, that will work, because as you can see, it's not here anymore. It was moved to the trash because that folder was empty. Since A is not empty, I need to include a flag, which is -r, which tells the the interface to remove A regardless of whether it has any components inside it or not. So here, to permanently remove A, I need to do rm-ra, which means I will use the rm command instead of the regular remove directory command, and include the -r because I want to permanently delete the folder, including all the contents inside it. So this can be a very powerful command, which means it's also risky because it deletes the folder and all the subdirectories inside the folder. So if you use it with unknowingly, you can accidentally delete all the files inside it. That's why it's usually safer to check the contents inside the folder and then delete directories if you want to. Let's say I want to delete both these redundant files, and as you can see here, the B file was also deleted. So, and if I want to go back to my home directory, I can do cd space ... to go back to the previous directory, which is my home directory, or I can do cd space the tilde sign if I want to reset back to the original directory, which in this case is also my home directory. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for our command line tutorial. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Thank you.